Alright folks, welcome to this exciting video where you once again join me in the wild landscape of Scotland. And today, hopefully, I'm about to document a piece of history which we've never seen before on the channel. And it's one of these interesting old ROC bunkers here. And a cool fact, I was here one time years ago and there was like a big stone on top of the hatch to get down. But recently when I was driving past, I noticed the big stone's now off the top of the hatch. So I've come back today to see if we can document some Cold War history here and document another one of these ROC bunkers. I've got the torch, so if the bunker's open, we'll go down and have a wee look. I always come with the greatest respect to like landowners and the ROC bunker owner. I just want to document the history that at one time defended the country here. And this is just a mad piece of landscape here in these like wild highlands of Scotland, you could say. Yeah, this is mad folks, just check out this landscape. The hills and stuff all around are just crazy. And it just goes to show these bunkers weren't always built on the top of hills. They're often on lower land in between with an excellent view all around. Yeah, so this is super cool to see this bunker folks. Look, the surface features on this one are in such great condition. Wow. Yeah, look at it. I'm just hoping this hatch is actually open here so we can go and have a look. Whoa. Oi. Check it out folks. Wow. Let's get in here. This is the counterweight here on the lid. And look, the original sign's still there as well folks. Let's get in here. This is absolutely incredible adventures. Like I say, last time I came here, that big stone was on the top. So it's going to be so cool to come down, document this Cold War bunker. You also have to be careful because within these bunkers there can be poisonous gases caused by the stale air. Whoa, just think this had a stone on top of it for years, so the history down here could just be absolutely magical. Yeah, look at it, the internal features have actually been fully removed. Look, this is the sump below my feet here, which was designed to collect the water within the bunker. And you can see, because it's on a hill up here, it looks like peaty brown water. But then that could be caused from the rust within the metal. And then look at this. This is where the pump would have mounted on. The red Cold War hand pump there. Pumped the water up, out a little pipe up there. Look how great a condition this one's in folks. Wow. The little breather holes. I better get the torch on. This is where at one time there would have been like a chemical toilet. A little round green thing. Check out the doors and look at the details. I just can't believe it folks. This is in such great condition. Wow. The door frame looks like it was just put in yesterday. And look at the old like Bakelite door handle. Yeah, wow, I'm hitting my head on the shelf. Look at that, there's a wee bulb there mounted on the edge of the door. I need to get the torch up to get a proper look. And look at the great condition of this here. Wow. I'm so hyped folks when I find abandoned history to document. Look at this, this is the main bunker room here. Oh my goodness. Check this out. We'll just start right here at the start. There's normally like a little timer switch here mounted on the wall. And I believe this is one of the ones which was actually shut down at a later time. 1991 this bunker would have been shut down. You can tell from like the polystyrene insulation on the walls here. And then there's been a fire blanket mounted here on this plinth. Wow. And then look at the door. This is where the telecoms was on the wall. And they had batteries down here. And look, the leads is still here for the batteries. Wow. I just love to see stuff like that, folks. Look at that. Distribution boards. Circuit label. name of circuit. And look at the old fuse holders right there, ceramic, white ceramic. Yeah, these were all using 12 volts. And I believe they used to use batteries, and they used to also sometimes have a little generator to charge those batteries at times. But I think most of the time they would have taken the batteries home to charge them. And you can actually see just the old wiring and stuff going along the wall. And look at this here, folks. Here's one of the original lights. I think a lot of them used to have like a desk here, which appears to be gone now. And then look at this here, there was actually a device they used to mount on here called a fixed survey meter, and that used to measure the radiation levels. And there was obviously a probe went right up there to like a funny looking thing that used to go on the top. And then another interesting detail, there was the bomb power indicator that mounted here with like a massive needle on it, and it measured the pressure of the nuclear detonation. And then there was a third device, and the person in the bunker here would actually have to come out, climb up the ladder, and on the side of the hatch it was mounted up like a metal cylinder, a round metal cylinder, and within there was like a circle of paper, and there was a little pinhole around each side of the actual cylinder, and when the blast occurred, the nuclear detonation, the paper would get a hole burnt into it, and then from that they could actually figure out like the latitude and the longitude there of the bomb and the detonation. Also in here there would have been a bed, or sometimes in some bunkers there was actually a bunk bed. And then here's the far end air hatch right there, folks. Look how the condition of that is just incredible. Wow, this is the best ROC bunker I've ever been in, folks. Just look at it from here. It is genuinely like historical places like this that I just love to explore and document. And imagine the ROC officers that were sitting in here often day and night doing shifts. And an interesting thing, in a recent video on my channel, when we were at the Afford Museum of Heritage, we actually saw the contents from one of these bunkers, and you got to actually see the fixed survey meter and other interesting things like that. So yeah, it's cool just to often put the pieces of the puzzle together with the Cold War history of Britain here. Places like this defending the country. Look at this here, folks. Wow, here's the crew operating procedures right here. Look, transition to war. It tells you each thing you would do, all posts, radio posts. See, so the radio posts have got a separate piece of information to the normal posts. Wow, I'm gonna have to take photographs of this, folks, for sure. And then there's different levels of the crew operating procedures here, like at stand 2, that must be when they're ready. At attack, warning red. During nuclear attack. Prior to fallout. On fallout arrival. During fallout. At attack message white. During landline failure. And then at all times. And that's the process. If a nuclear attack occurred on the country here, that shows the phases there which they would go through. Wow. It is just insane. Insane to see this, folks. I'm going to take photographs of this right here though, just to save the history. So there we are, folks. That shows the genuine Cold War history that we witness on this channel. And the documentation of this history is crucial because it often keeps it alive. There's no museum with this stuff in it because it's right here. It's just out often in these damp conditions. Every year things like this degrade and decay. And look, here's the Health and Safety at Work Act 1974. It's the procedures for the ROC post if you get an injury or whatever. Wow, it's so interesting to see those details are still here, still within this bunker. Yeah, look at it, it's just like a forum and stuff. So interesting, these details, folks. We've managed to document it on the channel today. And look at this here. Here's another incredible piece of history. Look, it shows you the Orkney Islands. But another interesting detail, look, the Shetland Islands here. And I'm guessing there's 4 points here. And look, it shows you like measurements in that circle there. Wow, look at this. I wonder if at one time the people down here literally had a candle on the go. Because they were using battery lights. I'm not sure on Orkney what is at these points here, folks, but it would be interesting to go and see. Same with this Shetland. I'm not sure if they had ROC bunkers at those locations, and maybe there was a full ROC bunker map. Oh, look at that, folks. Real history right here on the channel. I need to get a photograph of this for sure. So I just went round and took a couple of pictures there, folks, to save this history, and I just thought I would lay this crew operating procedures piece of paper there up onto the shelf, because it was down on the damp floor, and if that water level rises, then there is a hole in the hatch. It's cool that this stays dry up on this surface, and I'll pop this map back up here. It's incredible often just seeing these wee nuggets of British history here and saving them for generations in the future to see like how they looked or what history's around. Wow. Look at this, the old-fashioned stuff within here, folks. I was going to move the bucket, but it's literally like rusted to the carpet. No way, check this out. The old Tennant's Lager ashtray right there, folks. That's a classic Scottish beer, lager. Obviously, the old like Tennant's Lager. Look at that, the old Rover's biscuit tin right there. The old bleach. What's even in that jar, eh? Look. Oh, yellow petroleum jelly. Look, tour of New Zealand. What? Oh, it's a game. So look, these people were pure sitting in here playing a game, like, that shows the banter and the happiness and like what might have gone on in a place like this when they were chilling. Whoa, check this out here, folks. I didn't want to actually tear it. It's already got a slight tear in it down here. I need to try and get it out below this. Look at this here. Look, the meter report log. Wow. Post number and the date. And look, this is what they were monitoring. Look, time, wind, visibility, weather, the clouds, the type, the temperature, and the pressure of the air. And that's obviously the report form and the sheet. So that's another piece of really crucial ROC Cold War history documented right here. I like to put things back just exactly where they were. Once I've had a wee look at them, it's just save the history where it was. Look at the ancient phone book. Crazy, folks. What year is this phone box? Oh look, phone book I should say. Look at this here. October 1986 right there, folks. So just think about that. Wow. Aberdeen, northeast of Scotland area. 1986. So that's like 37 years since that book was there. And that was probably the latest phone book back at that time. But then I was reckoning this place was shut down in 1991. So potentially that was just the most recent phone book they had. Look, it's been painted yellow at a certain time. And then It's been refurbed. Some of these bunkers were actually shut down in 1968, and then other ones were kept open until 1991. Sometimes once they had shut some of the places down, they actually took the fixtures and fittings to some of the newer ones that they were keeping open. And I'm just thinking, maybe these items have actually been taken out of this bunker and taken to a museum. Look at this. See the interesting thing? These metal hooks on the roof here screwed into the wood. That's actually where, when they put the fixed survey meter device up here, this is where the cable used to come along and it used to come down. And I think this light bulb, it must have been when they were getting an incoming call or a message, that light used to flash because that's wired into the telecoms. But the interesting detail, that's the same light bulb which is through in the toilet as well. So it must have been through, if they were through in the toilet and they weren't paying attention, they would actually see the light flashing and they would jump to action. It's so cool. And like another detail, you see these hooks, the line of where the big thick cable used to come down, all the way down here. And then they would have had their little box set up. There's another cable, the box would have been just set up kind of here on the wee desk. Look at that there, folks. That could actually be an original green ROC bin. Look at this old tin. The old enamel bucket, I should say. That's a classic piece right there. It kind of matches this little enamel candle holder. That's the kind of details of history, folks, that we just love to see right there. I was just seeing if there's anything underneath that there. No more details of hidden history to document. These bunkers were basically, there was like 1,500 of them in the country, and then the base. Yeah, so I meant to switch the torch off there, and I actually switched the camera off. But I was saying, there was actually 1,500 of these bunkers located all over the UK, even out on the Hebridean Islands and the far reaches, maybe Orkney and Shetland as well, judging from that sign. It's crazy to think they used to just dig a big hole and then they would pour in the cement into like wooden shuttering with a rebar between. Each of them was like the same shape, and it was like a common set bunker that they used to build. And then like they would obviously cover it back over once the bunker had hardened, and this is what was left. And it's so impressive to see this one. It's the best one I've ever visited, and it's because I got to see the details there of like the procedure they went through under an attack, a nuclear attack on the country. Here's another detail, folks. I was just thinking as I was saying that last spiel there, look. See this old jerry can? This may have actually been used to fill their little generator, because they often used to have a little generator. Look, Auto F46 it says on the top of there. But yeah, they often used to have a little generator to charge the batteries. And that's maybe the fuel source for that back in the day. Somebody's put like thick carpet in here at a certain time as well. Oh, look, on the carpet, 1980. I don't know if that comes out. It says 1980. I'll try and change the angle of the light to show it up. That's like some rubber underlay right there. But these places were always getting developed and changed and upgraded to the latest technologies, and probably they were made a bit more comfortable for the people within them as well. Anyway, let's head on up out of this incredible madness. And the cool thing with this bunker, once again on the channel, folks, is the first time this has like ever been documented, and I believe it's the first time this bunker's ever been documented on YouTube. There's absolutely no like footage of this or documentation even of this bunker. I have looked at the surface features before, but like I say, there was a massive stone on the top. Like I say, also to the farm owner and stuff, I come with the greatest respects on these adventures. It's just crazy scenes. I better check I've taken everything that I brought in. My torch and stuff is in my pocket. It'd be nothing worse than having to come all the way back down. Look at this interesting detail I just thought of. That's actually one of the little things off the hatch. That's the wee bit that used to cover the keyhole. and it's still got the green ROC paint on it. Anyway, let's head on into this madness, folks. I'm glad I wore the wellies for that little bit of water. Look at this big counterweight right there. It's actually got a butterfly chilling on it. That counterweight's obviously designed to make the lid easy to lift. And yeah, this is so interesting to see. A mad scene of Cold War Britain and Cold War history. And it's things that you just didn't realise even exist often. These little things that were done to defend the country at a certain time. Every piece of land, every inch of land. And look at this top vent here. See, I think the ones that were open until like 1991, I've seen this extra top vent getting put in. Because it's often like roughly just chapped through there, be like, they've just knocked the cement out and you can see the original rebar that would have been within the structure. And I think it must have been to help airflow, to keep the fresh air down within the bunker. And look at that there, that's the top of the pipe that at one time was connected down to the pump in the sump. And another cool detail with this one, it's still got the original sign up here, mind your head and back. And there used to also be one of those on the wall at the bottom of the ladder as well. Yeah, folks, that is potentially, I would say, that is the best ROC bunker that I've ever explored. Look at this here, folks, scored into the cement, maybe when it was constructed. Looks like it says, what even is that? Is that a 5? Looks like it says 1954. Look at that right there, folks. That's definitely a 4. This number here is harder to see. Sometimes on the camera it comes out. It looks like it's definitely not 84. 19. I think that says 1954, to be honest. So that's just moss there, and it kind of makes it look like that's the letter, but it's not dug in like that there. See, that's the kind of historical graffiti that I also enjoy finding. I'll set up the tripod here, folks, right on top of where the old instrument to measure used to be mounted. See that? You need to lift that latch to get the door shut. And like, the water will start going in there, which is unfortunate. Because obviously this gigantic hole here in the lid, the water's going to go in there. It'd be good to get maybe something to cover it with. Even just a smaller stone that was like easily lifted. See, this is where they bolted on the massive circular like device of measure. It was like a big tin circle, and it went on here, and that's where obviously they measured the height of the blast and sometimes the size of the blast depending on the size of the mark on the paper. But an interesting detail that I never noticed until I saw it on a video from IKS Exploration. They pointed out this interesting detail where these holes are actually offset. So when you mount the instrument of measure over there, it's always set up correctly for due north. It's always set like directly for north. Just look at this landscape we're in right here, folks. It's just breathtaking scenery. And just to think the British government were protecting every bit of this land with these secret wee bunkers just hidden, manned by the Royal Observer Corps. And look at this, there's a wee pipe here for the water to come out around the seal of the lid. And then this is obviously the outlet for the sump. But look at this detail here, folks. Look, there's initials scored in at this side. CTS, JH, and I think that says RR right there. Wow, so there's another little detail of the history. You can see the wooden shutters as well, and they actually used brass within this metal here. It's like a high brass content, and I think that's to prevent it corroding, because these places are obviously built in extreme environments. See this, I'm just taking a wee walk around. Look at this. This is where that massive stone has landed when somebody's knocked off the top. Wow. It just shows it's proper busted it out. And then this is the original step for getting in. It's a monstrous big large step. But up here in the Scottish Highlands they can handle that, folks. It's just blown away by what we've seen today, to be honest. Like, and the surface features of this one's in super good order. Look at the green paint. ROC paint. And you can just imagine them if there had been a nuclear detonation coming out here, looking around, and imagine what it must be like. Then you'd be away out here in the middle of this wilderness, and it's just so remote and desolate out here. Look at this. This is where, like, the fixed survey meter used to come up here. They would unbolt this and then put on their instrument to measure, well, the top half of the fixed survey meter, and then this is where the bomb power indicator was actually mounted on. And that actually had a plate. It looked similar to this. It was a plate, but it had a gap between it, and that went on to here, and that measured obviously the barometric pressure during the point of explosion, and it recorded it for their notes. And then that's obviously the three things they were doing right there, but also they were looking at the weather and like the way the wind was going and all that sort of stuff as well. So yeah, it was a crazy crucial thing they were doing. Sometimes with these, one of the wooden louvers actually ends up being more damaged than the other, and that's just because often in these areas the wind always comes from one particular direction, depending on the lie of the land out here. Look at this as well, folks. Here's the remains of the original perimeter fence here. Look at that, you can just see it, all the wire just underneath the grass nowadays, because it's not been used for so long. There must have been a little individual perimeter fence around this site. Yeah, so that is impressive to see. And to see the 1954 on there as well, it gives you an idea of when they were constructing these bunkers. And like, also it's interesting just to think, a lot of them were probably built in 1954 and then shut down in 1968, whereas this one looks like it's been on the go until 1991. But it shows you that some of the ones that were shut in 1968 just had a short little lifespan. They must have realised that some of them maybe in the in-between areas weren't actually needed as much, and they could actually monitor maybe for a further distance, get an accurate reading. But one of the most remote and like far out Cold War ROC bunkers I've been to was actually on like the Isle of Islay, which is just a madness, like way out in the Southern Hebrides. But they were just monitoring everywhere, and it's cool on these videos to document that history there and record it for the world to see. And I just hope a place like this doesn't get vandalised. That's how I often don't give away the exact like locations of these places. It's because it's like, it's good to save the history and look after it and respect it, and but also honour it by leaving it as it is when you find it. Yeah, it's interesting. It's almost like a museum of history, almost gone. Right folks, I'm going to end this exciting episode here. It was so cool to see what we saw, document Cold War history of Britain, and another interesting ROC bunker, the best one I've ever seen, and I'm so glad that I came up for a look. And shout out to the farmer for taking the stone off the lid of that, if that's what he's done. No, unless some youths have been up shifting the stone, but I think it was such a massive stone you would really struggle to push it by hand, like, so I'm thinking maybe the farmer's taken the thing off. But then maybe some of those internal features have actually been taken to a museum or whatever. I'm not sure the history on that particular bunker, but I do love to go and see what's left, document what I can see. Yeah, the wind's super strong down at this end of the field here, but I'm going to end this one here, folks. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll be back soon with the next adventure, wherever I end up going.